Hi everybody. So we're going to be talking about forgiveness, which I think is probably the biggest challenge in our life experiences. Coming to that place where we are willing to let go of pain from the past and forgive the people who have hurt us. I have found a couple articles, and you're not going to have to look at me through most of this. I just wanted to give a brief introduction to make sure you know that forgiveness may not be what you have been thinking it is. Forgiveness is for you. It's to free yourself from that prison of repeating the pain, experiencing the anger, the resentment over and over. And some of us are carrying these things for decades. That's a long time to be in prison. Now, if you are listening to this and you are thinking, no way, he should be hung up by his balls for what he did to me, there's no way I can forgive him, or that battle axe can rot in her grave for all I care, she's ruined my life, you're probably not ready. You can sure go through the rest of the video to see the steps, and there is a section about if you just are not ready to forgive, what you can do. But don't beat yourself up if you're thinking you don't want to go any further. You know, we get there when we're ready. And forgiveness, like I said, is really not an easy, I'm going to say place. It's not an easy place to get to where you're willing to let that stuff go, because it's like a lot of things, you know, they become habit. We're so used to hauling out the stories from our lives that exhibit, I guess that's the word, exhibit our pain, that show how much we've been through. I mean, we can get to the point we almost wear our suffering like a badge. Go figure. I mean, we humans are funny. But when you choose to forgive someone else, it is not for them, it's for you. They may not even know you've done it. It's not saying that what they have done to you is okay. It is not saying that you aren't entitled to be angry, hurt. It is not saying that you will have them in your life ever again. It's none of those things. It's simply so you can have some peace of mind and quit focusing on these things that bring up feelings that are, you know, way at the bottom of the scale of energies and emotions, the place we don't want to be, the place that we just feel like crap. You know, we want to get up to happiness, joy, and surprisingly, this did surprise me anyway, freedom. Those are the top 3 on that scale. Peace is in there somewhere too. I might have one mixed up. But don't go into this thinking, I don't know, that person doesn't deserve my forgiveness, because this is not about that person at all. This is about you, and you do deserve some peace. So if you've been kind of on the fence, or if you have been wanting to forgive someone and you just haven't been sure how to go about it, this video hopefully will help based on the article I found. I'm hoping anyway, because, you know, I probably prize freedom more than anything, because with freedom comes that happiness and peace. Freedom from all the things that we've allowed to keep us from living our lives fully. Enough from me. Let's get to the good stuff. The article that I found is on daringtolivefully.com. The author is Maralisa, and the article is called 5 Powerful Ways to Forgive Those Who Hurt You. Whether we're talking being rejected, made fun of, deceived, abused, there comes a point you realize you need to clear out what's holding you back. The anger, the grudges, the resentment, the pain. When you realize you're reliving the same thing over and over and over again, no matter how many years or decades have gone by, you may be thinking, it's time to do something. And in this article, there are different suggestions of how you might approach forgiving the person that caused you what you're going through. I referred to in the intro that you may think forgiveness is something different than it actually is. A lot of people think that forgiveness means that you're saying what the other person did is okay, that you're kind of giving in and allowing it, or as the Bible would tell you to do, turning the other cheek. You may think that if you forgive someone, it's like pretending that nothing happened or it wasn't such a big deal, or that you're admitting that your anger isn't justified or that you're not entitled to be feeling it. And you may think that if you forgive someone, then you still have to hang out with the person you forgave, even though there is the potential that they may hurt you again and again. Well, it turns out those are all misconceptions. But it certainly is easy to see why people would be reluctant to forgive, isn't it? So these are in fact what forgiveness means. Forgiveness is about freeing up and putting to better use the energy that is being consumed by holding on to grudges, harboring resentments, and nursing old wounds. It's about moving on. Forgiveness is about choosing serenity and happiness over righteous anger. It's refusing to replay past hurts in your mind over and over again like a broken record. Forgiveness is about realizing that anger and resentment not only don't serve you, but don't even feel good to feel, and often are taking a toll on your physical body. And when you forgive someone, you're starting with a clean slate. You get to reinvent the relationship or not have the relationship at all. But at least things are cleared out and you get to choose where you go from now. Now there is a section called, "If this hadn't happened, my life would be perfect." It's kind of talking about the victim mentality, or whiny baby mode, I guess you could say, because it mentions that many people think that holding their grudges and not forgiving people that have hurt them actually gives them an excuse for everything that goes wrong in their life. It's basically giving them a free ride where they don't have to be responsible for what happens in their lives. Set out to only this awful thing hadn't happened to them, then life would be so much better. So they use the hurt they experienced to get off the hook, and they are not accountable. They do not hold any responsibility for the things that may be out of whack in their lives. And so the suggestion is that you stop telling yourself that because certain things happened to you in the past, you can't have what you want in the present or in the future. Instead, take responsibility for getting on with your life in spite of anything that anyone may have done to you. And this is basically deciding that you're going to move out of victim mentality and into creator or co-creator mentality. Now, I mentioned in the intro that some people may not be ready to forgive right now, and that's totally cool. You know, we get there when we're supposed to get there. It may be a long time down the road, it may be tomorrow, it's hard to say. But if you think that there are only two options, one which is to forgive and release yourself from the hurt, and two which is to refuse to forgive and be forever trapped in a prison of your own poisonous thoughts, think again, because it seems there is a third. And that third is called acceptance. Acceptance helps you to clear your head of emotional poison, be true to yourself, forgive yourself for any of your own failings which led you to allow yourself to be placed in harm's way, and to choose to get along with the person who hurt you, even if you don't love or even like them, if it is in your best interests to do that. And of course, that's solely up to you. There is nothing that says that this person has to stay in your life. Acceptance involves honoring the full sweep of your emotions, giving up the need for revenge. Although it's fine to seek for a fair resolution, stop obsessing about what harm was done to you by challenging your negative thoughts, using meditation or relaxation methods, and taking care of yourself. Framing the offender's behavior in terms of their own struggles. In other words, they're suggesting that you use empathy to maybe understand that whoever hurt you came from a place of hurt themselves. Look honestly at your own contribution to what happened. Take any necessary steps to protect yourself from further abuse, and that may be removing them from your life and deciding what kind of relationship, if any, you want with this person. There is a way you can kind of flip the situation around so that you can try to see the other person's position, and some questions are offered as suggestions for you to ask yourself. The first one is, how would an impartial observer see this? Another is, have I done the same thing to another or to myself in the past? Is this similar to a pattern in my family? Has something like this happened to me before? Am I reliving a situation I've gone through before, but with different players? What can I learn from this? Can anything positive come from this? Am I stronger or more resourceful as a result of this having happened? What do I get by holding on to this resentment? Who benefits from that and how? And am I keeping the situation alive by refusing to let go? The last thing recommended in this article as a suggestion bringing you toward forgiving is called the 9-Step Forgiveness Exercise, and it's based on the Stanford Forgiveness Project. The first step is to make a list of all the people you feel have wronged you in some way. Write down what each one did and why it's not okay. Number 2, acknowledge that those things did happen and that they did hurt you. Number 3, make a commitment to yourself to do what you need to do in order to feel better. Number 4, recognize that your distress is coming not from what happened, but from the thoughts that you have about what happened. Your thoughts are within your control. Number 5, when you feel yourself getting upset over what happened, practice stress reduction techniques to calm your body's fight or flight response. Number 6, another thing you can try when you start getting upset about a past experience is to ask yourself what you're thankful for. Ask that repeatedly until you feel better. Number 7, put your energy into looking for ways to achieve your goals instead of wasting your energy by continuously reliving the negative experiences in your head. Number 8, know that the best revenge is a life well lived. Forgiveness is about taking back your power. And lastly, number 9, amend your grievance story to include how you moved on. And that is the conclusion of what the article suggests for moving toward forgiveness of someone. Again, I have to go back to what I started with. This is to let you off the hook. This is to let go of something that's taking way too much of your energy and isn't serving you. Hope that helped. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.